the talk of the day, of course, on the cover of today's This Day, Nigeria's newspaper record, is on insecurity in an article, of course, coming from The Economist, saying that kidnapping is wreaking havoc in Nigeria. Going to get into that. Also, taxes. President Tinubu, who was represented by the Minister of Economic Budget and Planning, saying that the global tax regime has to be more fair for developing nations. Says the current international tax system is largely shaped by the interests of more affluent nations, often leaves developing countries at a disadvantage, especially in taxing digital economies. Arise business analyst Chika Mbonu joins us to discuss further. Chika, you're very welcome. Good to see you.
Hi, Rotus. Welcome back to Nigeria.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So insecurity, which you've talked about a lot. What is the answer? We're asking you for the answer.
You know, maybe he said we've spoken so much about this, and with all seriousness, maybe this time around, because the Economist magazine, profiled it, spoke a lot of, wrote so much about it. Maybe some people will react because, each time, Nigeria now will just sit in from 2 or 3 windows. If you say it in a particular way, it means that you're a political enemy. If you say it another way, it means that you're anti-religion, and so maybe a lot of times the people in power respond when the international newspapers or magazines write about this. So the Economist is not talking about what we don't know. They can't be outside and know more about Nigeria than us.
Right.
And we live it, we feel it, and daily. Even look at the one that happened in Abuja, where the sisters in one family, were kidnapped, and one of them was, killed. And look at what happened. It became a national thing because there was a crowdfunding to raise money to rescue these ladies, girls, because it became an emotional issue. And the sad thing is this: I was flipping the papers and news throughout that period, and I didn't see any person of the high level in the government actually speak up and address that issue. What are they really doing about rescuing these people or addressing the mood of the country? And then when you say it again now, some security will come and tell you that we're not obliged to disclose our strategy outside there. But it's not an issue of strategy. You see other countries that practice democracy. That's what we practice in this country, where transparency is a watchword, and they have things like this. Other people are stuck in their mine, or people have been kidnapped, or they're trying to rescue people. There are frequent updates on what is happening. And so that's the first thing. And it happened in Abuja, seems to be the hotbed now. And you do recall, Rotus, that when the ministers were announced, I tried to put the ministers in buckets and told you that there's a group that will focus to work. There's a group that every weekend they go back to their states of origin to go and do local politics. And so their work they will do, they are supposed to be doing will suffer. And like a fortune teller that I was then, this is what's happening. Abuja has suffered again. It's out there from the capo to there, not every weekend. He's outside somewhere holding town meetings in the state of origin instead of holding the town meetings in Abuja and trying to make sure that we get the people involved in security challenges. So what do we do? What's causing this? Why this sudden spike in this level of insecurity? Abuja seems to be the hotbed now, or the hottest bed now, because this is happening in every part of our country. And what is the solution? What do we do? And if you go to the root of it, a lot of people talk about the fact that unemployment, when people are employed, they tend to be less busy and have time for other distance, other activities. And the other also is the price. What do you do to those that they capture when they do this raid? I don't know whether, apart from the latest news we hear about some people arrested, we have had this about people have been kidnapped in these bush kidnapping, whether anybody has been tried for any of these things. So the scare from doing this kidnapping, I don't think is there. I don't think it's there. Sometimes you sit back and listen to communities talk, and the community will say something like that the security agencies know who these people are, but I do not, nothing about it. On the other hand, again, occasionally security agencies will push out some videos for us where they're doing shooting with people in the forest and say these are the bandits. So but having said that, the number one role of the government is what? Security.
Yeah.
Most importantly, the current president even put it out there that is number one in his plate is to secure the country. I don't think that is happening. Somebody may say it's too early to judge him, but the issue is we have become desensitized about the number of people who die. I hear people sometimes in government say, no, it's not only, when they say 100 people die, they say, no, it's not 100, it's about 50. As if 50 people lives are not, or even one life is not worth it. So the government has to go back to the drawing board. It's not this case of when it's going to happen, the president to someone, press release, the president someone the security council. For what now? And they will just meet, do photo op, and then after that, what happens? The next day, the kidnapping continues. Abuja now is so brazen, flood the place, the men Abuja and the towns around it with security people. But the sad thing again about security in Nigeria is, sometimes what you watch is if you see some of these other refined countries, you don't see people carrying AK-47 like this, just seeing people around like this, that. Right. It's more brain than brawn.
Intelligence.
Yeah, more brain than brawn.
Yeah.
So the level of intelligence also should be raised. Sometimes communities snap pictures of people on motorcycle, about 100 people on motorcycle, running through the community. And they say the community was attacked for 24 hours with no security person showing up. So I don't know how some of this has happened. So I think one for me is sincerity of purpose.
Yeah.
Does the government in power really want to tackle security?
Yeah.
Is the government in power or the president beholden to any group whatsoever for winning his election, and therefore willing to turn a blind eye to whatever is happening, or not to shout too loud to some of these issues? Because there's some things you cannot explain when they happen. But be that as it may, it's just a sad situation. And I'm hoping that with the Economist magazine now, carrying it, maybe another magazine will carry internationally what we know already, what the embassies here know. I'm hoping that the government takes this very seriously.
Thank you, Chika. Taxes. Do we need a fair international tax system for developing nations?
If we notice also, there was an allusion or a focus on raw material taxation. Yeah. And also that what happens in a lot of developing countries, because the basis of that tax review is the fact that developing countries are not getting a fair deal from the developed world on taxation. Especially, what do most of us do? We carry raw cocoa.
Yep.
And ship it out of Nigeria or Ghana, and it flies to Switzerland, and they bring us back.
Exactly.
Other places, Yes. Nigeria, we take our crude, raw crude, and fire it out of Nigeria, and bring out the processed things. And if you can go through that, so our economies are driven substantially with low local value addition, substantially the raw materials, and so there was this story that. The $10 of we sold our cocoa for $10 to Switzerland.
Yeah.
And the same quantity of cocoa they brought it down to us as $10 million worth of chocolates and so on and so forth. Yeah. So you can see the disparity in that. And that is the root of the unfairness in the taxation system also. And that's basically what part of the thing when our president is talking about. And I hope that the whole community listens and tries to address that.
Indeed.
The other area is the digital economy. And the lot of consumption of this, again, in the third world. Remember, Nigeria, for example, is the capital of Bitcoin in the whole world. So what's the fairness in that? That's an alien field or a green field in taxation. So how is that going to profit of, with this kind of volume of transactions are happening? How do we get a rebate on things like this?
Yeah.
So that's basically those things that are in the basket that they're trying to discuss.
All right, Business Analyst Chika Mbonu, insecurity, taxation. Thank you so much for your analysis.
Thanks a lot.